Hi, General Flynn. Thank
What's
you
your
so
name?
much. My name is Erin.
We just met.
Yes.
Hi, Erin.
Hi,
How you doing?
Thank you.
Josh.
Josh, Erin, and Josh. And we are...
What's happening, Idaho?
What's happening in
Yes.
Idaho? What's happening in Idaho? We are in Idaho. We're at Post Falls at the State Line Speedway. And I want to just tell the people, the owners really of State Line Speedway, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And the welcome that we've gotten here at this facility is beautiful. Beautiful, gigantic American flag hanging and blowing in the wind out here. And the volunteers from the local area are just amazing people. So,
yeah, they're great.
You know, just terrific. And honestly, when we knew that we were going to do a Reawaken America tour, like we chose this area of the country, and then we had to go find a place that would actually have us, right?
Yeah.
Because we get canceled everywhere. Everywhere we go, we get canceled. This is really a godsend to be here. I've trained up in Washington State, you know, with the military, and it always rains.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's like
about
this
right.
is like the wettest, you know, part of the country, right? The northwest region of the country always rains, and we have two, I mean, absolutely gorgeous days for this event. I mean, we couldn't have picked better days. Beautiful sun, you know, a little bit of some clouds out there. And it's like in the 70s. Yesterday was beautiful. Today's beautiful.
Yep.
No rain. I think it's probably going to rain tomorrow. But we were graced by probably some of the nicest fall weather that you could have here in this part of the country. I swear to God. So
General Flynn, you're kind of a hero in this area. We really appreciate you standing up to everyone, actually.
Yeah,
so what do you
Thanks for
say
saying
to
that.
the Idahoans who feel disheartened and helpless helping the fight?
Yeah. So first, thank you for saying that, and it's humbling that that I have honestly don't understand it, but I'm here, right? I'm here in Idaho, and people have really through prayer and through faith, strong faith, and families have really they've resonated and they've come to our support, to my family support, particularly my family support over the years. So I really, just for all your listeners that were part of that, thank you. My wife and I really, you know, my wife and I always say we've been together since we were 13 years old and been married for going on 42 years. You know, beautiful children, beautiful grandchildren. And that's really what it's all about. And that's kind of why I do what I do, really. I've sort of seen the evil. I know the evil that we're up against. And I've faced it up close and personal overseas. And frankly, right now, it's right here at home.
Yeah.
So the people that are sitting at home or listening to your show, your great show, Wake Up Idaho, right?
What's happening?
What's happening? I'm sorry. We just met.
We need to wake up.
Okay,
We need to wake up, too.
We're
What's
waking up
happening?
Idahoans.
Yeah.
So what's happening? Well, it's like my mom would say, wake up. I'd say, what's happening, Mom? And anyway, I want people to think about what they can do with the God-given talents and skills that they have.
Amen.
And I don't care if you're, you know, if you're like in my generation, which I would sort of call that from the 60s to the grave, okay? That we need to understand that all of us, you know, you can't retire. You can't go and say, well, I'm too old to get involved. No, you're not. I want your wisdom. I want your experience. To the young people that listen to this show, if you want to have a country that you can be proud of and that you can grow in any direction that you want, you can have all of the freedoms that you can aspire to have, that what you learned as a child. If you don't want to lose those freedoms, you better start smartening up and get involved and start looking at the things that are happening in your community. I use the phrase local action equals a national impact. Local action. So I've had so many people come up to me and tell me over the past year and a half, because of the Reawaken America tour, I heard your message and I ran for school board.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about a 25-year-old mom. I'm talking about, you know, a 70-year-old woman and people of that age, because I want their wisdom. And I do want 25-year-old moms to also get involved, but 25-year-old moms are taking care of kids.
Yeah.
And they're probably holding down a job or two, right? So, but I still want them to think about how do they participate? How do they encourage? How do they go talk on behalf of their kids if they're still sending their kids to public schools? I mean, you know, the rise of homeschooling in the country, it's exploding.
Oh, yeah.
It's like growing like by times 5. So, and even private schools, where I come from down in Florida, we were talking to this bishop down there, and he talked about how the private system, and these are Catholic, this is a Catholic bishop. He talked about the number of children. It's grown by 5 times in the past year in their school systems. And so, because of that, the nice thing is, the positive thing is they're able to reduce their prices because they're getting more kids, right?
It's amazing.
And they're focused on faith. They're focused on family values. So they're focused on things. They're focused on our country. They teach classes on the Constitution. Geez, well, how about that, right? So people need to get involved. You need to get involved. I don't care if you get involved in your church more.
Yes.
Stay back to volunteer or go to some weekly volunteer group. Go learn about what's happening. Go to some go find who's running for office, whether it's school board or county commissioner. Everybody's got counties. Everybody's got county commissioners. Everybody's got county election commissioners that get voted in. So go find somebody. Go to a meeting that they have, a rally or whatever, or they have a town hall where they're going to speak. Go listen to them. And if you like them, if you like what you hear, then help them out. Say, hey, I'd like to volunteer to be part of your campaign.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, then go find somebody that you do and help them.
Yeah.
We've got to get better people. We've got to get better leaders. We've got to get stronger leaders. We have to get away from this political class that our founders never wanted. They never designed our Constitution nor our country to have a political class, meaning people that this is what they do for a living. They go into politics. We have too many of that, and it is destroying our country. And nobody can sit, nobody can sit at home listening to a station like this and go, oh, yeah, everything's okay. That's why your question is, people feel hopeless sometimes. And I don't want you to feel hopeless. The 6,000 people that we have outside here are fired up, and I know they're going to leave here. And anybody that listens to these shows, I hope, you're going to leave here. Hey, hold on. You mind if I talk to Clay Clark? I'll bring him on.
Please do.
Clay's calling me up. Clay, I'm doing a show right now. I'm doing what's up? What's happening in Idaho? Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Father Boltman, I was going to see if he's going to be here today.
Yes, he is. I'll be right out there, okay?
Okay, no problem.
He is. All right. Talk to you in a bit.
I have one quick question.
Yeah, you guys got that on a.
We did.
So
We
we're
caught
talking
it.
we're talking actually about one of our speakers, Father Jim Altman. Father Jim Altman. He's a priest, Catholic priest.
He's a Catholic. That's
Yeah.
He's an
right.
amazing
Okay.
guy. He's like, the Pope does not like this guy, right? Because
perfect.
he's so out front, and he is a priest, Catholic priest, and he has taken a stand for our rights. How about that?
Amen.
Our Constitution. And as I've told others, pastors out there, and there's people, and so people that are listening, you have a church, maybe there's a few pastors listening, you cannot talk about the Bible without the Constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't. You just can't. There's just you would not be able to have your congregation or your church. You'd be down in some basement hiding.
Yep.
Because we'd be in some communist country. We'd be under some socialist, dictatorship, or we'd be still under the tyranny of the monarch, right?
Yep.
So we just can't have that.
Yeah.
We have a few
anyway.
churches in that area that are like that. Pastor
Good. What's
Paul
happening in
Benoit.
Idaho?
Yes.
I finally get it. Listen,
I have
you
a
guys.
quick question
Go ahead.
for
Yeah,
you.
please.
So you served for Trump
Yep.
as the national security advisor.
Yep.
You spent time in Washington, D.C. We always hear that the swamp is deep there.
Yeah.
Is it really as deep as we are told?
It's worse.
It's worse.
It's vastly worse. It goes into the culture of the organizations, okay? So as a guy who has run large organizations and been part of a military culture, which I respect and I have always appreciated, they're trying to change our military culture. But when you look at the culture of an organization, that will tell you right away whether that organization is effective or not. Not the people that are in it. The people that are in it, you get to know them, and you can find that you can discover the leaders, the true leaders, the real hard workers. But you look at what's the culture of the organization. Is there a culture of indiscipline?
Yeah.
Is there a culture of carelessness? Is there a culture that disrespects our Constitution or disrespects each other? That kind of a culture is corrosive. And we have a corrosive culture in many of the institutions of our federal government right now. And there is a corrosiveness in parts of the church too.
Yes.
I'd leave you with that, because that corrosiveness can come from people who go, well, not in our backyard, or I'm not going to talk about this or that. So there's a corrosiveness that's in our institutions of government, and definitely we see it. Everybody sees it. You know, whether it's the education department, the justice system, with Congress.
Yeah.
But don't try to be the, don't try to be that person in Washington, D.C. If you can't be there, you can't control that. There's some leadership lessons that I used to teach young officers and young privates and sergeants. You know, control what you can control, right? And take control of those things. If you can't control something and it's just out of your reach, you know, I mean, and I'm talking about someone who's in a hometown somewhere, small town, Idaho, and you're griping about Washington, D.C. If you can't control that, then take control of what you can control.
10th Amendment.
And that's it. That's it. And if you can control your daily life and who you go to spend time with, who you support, how you support, what you do, then that will have meaning. And the meaning in your life will change overnight. Overnight. Don't look at your children or your grandchildren, for those that have grandchildren or great-grandchildren. Don't look at them and say, you know, I gave up. I'm not.
Amen.
So, guys, thank you.
General,
One final question.
Oh, my God.
So just a quick
You're like
one.
Columbo.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, so we have an Air Force veteran on staff.
Beautiful.
She wants to know what's better, Army or Air Force.
Well, it depends on if you need to get someplace.
My dad was Special Forces, so I say
Mine
Army.
was too, yeah.
General Michael Flynn, thank
Who's
you
the
so much
airman?
for your time.
Are you the airman? All right, that's great. Well, it's great. I'm so glad that you're here doing this, and thank you for your service. And I always kid people about there's great jokes between the services, right?
Yep,
Yes,
absolutely.
The Air Force, the Air Force is always seen as like smarter than everybody else, right? If you had to walk under like a limbo bar, like that game Limbo. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
The Army goes over and they kind of struggle and they climb over the top of it. The Navy comes up and they study it and then they go underneath it, right? The Marines come up and they grab the bar and they do like a bench press and they show themselves and they swing themselves over to show all their muscles.
Yep.
The airman goes up to the bar and looks at it and goes around it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's awesome.
General Flynn, thank you
I
so
love
much
that.
for
If
sitting
you
there.
haven't seen that meme, you need to see that.
Yeah.
God bless you guys. What's
Thank
happening
you.
in Idaho?
Yes.
And Josh and Aaron.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
See
you.
ya. All right.